Hi there, I'm Mrs. Jenkins. Today I wanted to take a look with you at the distributive property. Now the distributive property is a property that's used quite often and an important property in algebra. The distributive property states the following. If you have a sum or a difference of two expressions, variables, numbers, like this, you can go ahead and multiply both of those by a value, like a here, by distributing it. In other words, what we're going to do is we're going to take this value outside the parentheses. In this case, it's a variable. But we're going to take a and we're going to distribute it. We're going to multiply it by b. Then we'll take that a and we'll multiply it by c. So you take what's outside the parentheses, and since it's being multiplied by a sum here, we need to multiply it by each of the inside parts. Remember, when you're using the distributive property, it's multiplication. This outside value or variable is being multiplied by each term inside. And don't forget that as well. Make sure you distribute to every term inside the parentheses, whether it be 2, as in our example, or more. Now, if we were to do this, we would take a times b, and we would have ab. And we would take a times c, and we would have ac. The plus sign will remain the same. That's the distributive property, and if you think of distributing, it's taking something and spreading it amongst others. Well, here we're distributing that a. We're sharing it with the b, and we're sharing it with the c. So you can kind of think of it like that as well. Now let's take a look at a couple of examples where we'll use the distributive property. In our first example here, we have 3 times the sum of x plus 2. In this example, the 3 is what's being distributed. So that's what we want to multiply by x and then by 2. When I multiply 3 times x, I get 3x. Then I multiply 3 times 2 and I get 6. And my answer will be 3x plus 6. I want you to try this next example. In this problem, we'll be distributing the 4. So take that 4 and multiply it by each of the terms inside the parentheses. When you've gotten your answer, click Continue at the bottom of the screen. To start off with, we'll multiply 4 times x and get 4x. 4 times 7 is 28, so the answer that I hope you got there was 4x minus 28. Now there's a couple more things I want to point out to you. Remember, the distributive property is going to work the same even if outside it's not just a number or just one thing. You could have several things outside, as in this example. We have 3x. So 3x is going to be distributed to 4x, and 3x is going to be distributed to 7. So we need to go ahead and multiply that by both of those terms there. When we multiply 3x by 4x, we'll get 12x squared. Multiplying 3x by 7 gives us 21x. So the sum of those two would be our final answer. Now if you take a look at this one, it's often confusing for people. What is being distributed here? I want you to answer that question by answering A, B, or C at the bottom of the screen. In this example, there's really a -1 that's being distributed to both terms. What that really does is just change the sign, making it -6 plus 2y. Now I hope these examples will give you some help in understanding the distributive property. If you need more help on your algebra homework, sign up for Nutshell Math. I hope to see you there.